Good morning, fabulous fifth grade historians. This is Mrs. Watts here. I am coming to you today to go over a new project slash inquiry that Mr. Sweet and I have planned for you. It involves giving you 9 choices as you see displayed here. And today I'm going to read through these choices that we have created for you in the hopes that I can have it be understood, and then Mr. Sweet and I can follow up with any questions you might have. So basically, what we've decided to do as a form of alternative assessment is to give you some choice. And your brains learned so much about the New World, exploration, and westward expansion of our great world that we'd like to give you the opportunity to have some choice on how you can show us what you've learned. So that's where this choice board comes into play. So as you can see, there's 9 choices here. And let's just click through them one at a time very quickly. And I will give you some directions and some details and make sure that you notice some of the important aspects of each of these options. Mr. Sweet and I decided you're going to choose one and really throw yourself into it and crush it as one of your assessment tools for our unit of study this quarter. Okay? So the first one is create your own vessel. And if you click for directions, it'll take you to this page. And it says create your own vessel using what you learned about the history of sailing. And there's some links embedded in here for you to go to for research. Construct a vessel of your own design to sail to a new world, perhaps on the Lake Highland campus. Record a video describing the features of your ship, and then you'll turn that video and pictures in of your work on Canvas. So that'll be one way that you're going to detail what you've done. We also do expect you to bring, if you choose to do this project, please bring it in, and you're going to do a live presentation in class to explain your work and show us your research and show us your creation, and really give it an amazing time to shine in front of your peers with the hard work that you'll do if you choose this project. Going back to our choice board, the second option is to become an explorer. And you're going to jump into the time machine. Diaz, da Gama, Columbus, and Drake all had some great adventures exploring the New World. Create a captain's log journal with at least 6 entries in Google Docs or slides that depicts your plan to travel, which monarch you asked for support, how you prepared your vessel, and at least 5 major discoveries that you may have had if you sailed during 1450 to 1600. Some ideas. Maybe you're going to look for another alternate route to Asia. Maybe you're going to explore the Pacific Ocean. Are you a pirate or a privateer? Remember, Queen Elizabeth had that interesting relationship with Sir Francis Drake. So you're going to organize everything into either a Google Doc or a slide, and then you'll bring it in on Canvas. It might also be fun if you wanted to do this project, if you did some kind of a video reading of your journal entries. You could do that live in class and we could record you, or you could also record it and then play it back in the classroom if that was going to be your option. Now, if you're going to do this, remember, make sure you read and go through each step of the directions, because in order to get all of the points for this, and this project is going to be worth a substantial amount of points, 60 points, you're going to want to make sure that you check off each one of these steps. Okay? The third option, research an ancient sailing legend. And as we learned in early exploration, sailors and navigators were afraid of what would happen if they sailed off to the edge of the planet. And many believe they would encounter frightening creatures or worse death if they sailed too far from the view of land. So I've embedded another link in here that you can maybe look up some of those links for some of those legends. There's some links to those legends for inspiration. And I want you to write your own version of a legend that shares one frightening encounter with fate. Be creative. Do some research. You will type this up. I would suggest a Google Doc, or you could do a Google slideshow, or you could write the legend and then dress up in costume and record it, and then share that as a video on Canvas or Seesaw. But remember, you are going to be performing this live. So probably the easiest way to do that would be to have a PDF of your Google Doc and put it on Canvas. And Mr. Sweet and I will be helping you with those uploads into Canvas, and then also sharing your work with each other, either on Seesaw or even a Google Classroom post in the next few weeks. So that is another option, researching an ancient legend. The next option, sailing with the moons, the tides, and the stars. And in this option, we know that the moon is an important part of our ocean because it causes a lot of the movement of water and things within our planet. But the explorers actually depended on the stars in the night sky and other celestial constellations. And again, there's another link there to guide them on their voyages at sea. Research how sailors used the sky to navigate the globe. Identify and describe any instruments the explorers would have used to help track progress and map their discoveries. Choose at least one constellation to feature in your work. Tell the story of how the constellation came to be. Make certain to have a picture or diagram of your stars. So again, a Google slideshow might be a really great way to do this because you can insert pictures and do some research and organize your things in the way that makes the most sense to you. But remember, look back at all of the directions in here. You're going to have to read this and check off each of the items that are asked for. Again, you want to get those 60 points. An Elizabethan fashion design. So we know that Queen Elizabeth caused quite a stir during her reign, and she was a pretty amazing dresser, and they really learned how to entertain during the time that she ruled. So you're going to conduct some research on the Elizabethan age. You're going to plan a party and a fashion event to create a party even the Queen would love. Think about food that would be historically accurate, that they would have been served, and how the guests might have been dressed to attend this soiree, and also what they might have been entertained with. So you can do your fashion show and record a video of your fashion show, your party, your setup, and all of that. And we'll be able to submit some of that on Canvas or post on Seesaw or Google Classroom. Mr. Sweet and I are going to put our heads together the best way that we can share all of this. And again, do some research, my friends. We want to make these as true to what we would actually see as we can. And bonus points if maybe you have something that you could wear during your live presentation. That would be super cool to see that. The sixth choice of 9 is the Poetic Plymouth. And the Puritans, who we're learning about just this week, who settled in Plymouth in 1620, escaped England to be able to practice their faith. Trace the path that their journey took them and share the main historical dates, write a song or a rap that describes their journey and all that happened during their quest for freedom. So this is an important time in our country's history, as you know, but we're going to document it in a fun way with some songs or rap, and you know how much Mrs. Watts likes to rhyme. So see if you can impress Mr. Sweet and I with your ability to strike up a rap or a song. The seventh option is a Croatan cartoon, and we know that mysterious Croatan word from our Jamestown study. Our Roanoke study. But you are going to create a 6 to 8 paneled minimum. And when we talk about a panel, you know, cartoons are set up in panels that show some action and some dialogue bubbles. So you are going to have a cartoon of what you believe based upon all of the fun things that Mr. Sweet and I shared with you and our additional hypothesis from Scott Dawson. Tell the story from the time that John White left to when he returned in 1590, and include lots of details that could really be true. So you're going to really put a lot of work into these 6 panels with your illustrations, with some dialogue. You're going to include facts, perhaps underneath each panel, to show the passage of time and what you think could have really happened to the settlers in Roanoke. And again, we'll put some PDFs of your creation. Hopefully you'll use a Google slide. It would make sense. One panel of your cartoon could be a slide. And then we'll upload those as a PDF on Canvas or Seesaw or Google Classroom or all of the above. Your eighth choice, fort building, design charrette. And a charrette is a fancy builder's term for a meeting. And so obviously, you're going to go to your design charrette. You're going to have a meeting, probably with you, yourself, and you, and maybe your family. And you are going to build or draw a new version of the Jamestown Fort Village. We've seen a lot of pictures of the original kind of triangular design on the coast there. And that was built before 1609. So what I'd like you to do is redesign it knowing what you know now, so that maybe when the colony starts to flourish later on, they would have not had the horrible memory of the starving years in 1609, 1610. Maybe they could have planned things a little bit better, so they would have been more prepared with some things to prevent them from starving. And so once you build it, I hope that you'll have something that you can bring in and do a live presentation. But certainly we could have a video of that if it's too big. But I hope you'll be able to bring it into the classroom to share. And then we'll certainly take some pictures and post those PDFs of your pictures on Canvas and Seesaw and maybe Google Classroom as well. And lastly, a U-Town colony creation. And we all know that Roanoke and Virginia and Jamestown and Plymouth, they all had inspiration for their names. And so we would like for you to create your very own colony named after you. And the year is 1610, and you are going to create a very new colony named after you. Who would move to your colony from England and why? Things to consider. Location, where would you put your colony? Size, how many people are coming over to settle your colony from England? What will be your religious faith? What kind of leader and who would be your leader and who are you going to pattern your leadership after? How many citizens would you have? What kind of citizens would you want to come over? Would you have families? Would you have craftsmen? Would you have trappers? Would you have agricultural trades? Make all of these come alive with details. Create some families, create a farmer group, create as many of the things that you can to make this colony really live and breathe and describe it to us. You can use Google Docs, you can use a mind map or slides, or create an Adobe Spark, create a video with Adobe Spark, whatever you'd like to do to share your colony. And then we will work on getting those things posted and shared in an appropriate way. So keep that situation in mind when you are choosing your colony options. Okay, so back to this main suggestion board. I'd like to show you next, I'm going to pause the video, and I'd like to show you next how we're going to be assessing these. So I will be back in just 1 second.